experience of working on it, that you were in a sense making a finely crafted short film that was going to work in a larger piece, because I don't know what the screen time is, but there's an individual arc which is not quite the same as there being a 90-minute arc for either any of your stories. So I'm curious how you approached it and how long the shoot was according to that.
Is this
you know, Eric, in relation to your first question to Chris, he's done a fantastic job talking about what inspires him.
Yeah.
But I know him and I've worked with him for a while, and when we talk about what inspires him, he's different because it's all in his subconscious, and he doesn't edit any of it out. You can see on the film, he's not afraid to, go to dark places or tell different types of stories or focus on the outsiders and things like that. It's all just a stream. It's all running in his head. And of course, you near production, and he's got to break it down and, and make it happen and stuff. But I don't know if everybody noticed on the credits, but he's the writer, he's the editor. Look at him getting all shy. He's the director, and he's all of those things at once. So he's editing, before he starts writing it. He's editing, like he described that image. He knows what he wants to see, you know what I mean? He knows how to execute it. I've worked with him, I've known him for years, and we've worked together. You shoot with him, and the next day, the sequence is edited, you're looking at it. Wow. You know what I mean? That's his passion for this film. We talk about his body of work, and there's a lot of it on Vimeo. I would encourage everybody who enjoyed this film take a look at his body of work, because it's so just vast and different, and some of these films he's done have gone up to an hour. He's even just released some new work and stuff. But Chris, look at you. He is like, the real deal. For us, we shot it all differently. In fact, today's the first day Irene and I have met. We just met today. Chris said this morning he feels like he's walking around with characters from his film. But, they shot it over a longer period of time. They shot us differently, except for the opening where the characters move. Paul Flanagan, who does such a great job as Bozo, he's not here today, but they shot, and I think you reshot with him a little bit as well.
Afterwards, yeah.
So we all worked on it sort of differently, but they were, obviously he said it's a bigger production, so they were longer shoots and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And with Malta as well, I feel obligated to say, everyone's seen a lot of production in Malta because, Game of Thrones is shot in Malta, Pirates of the Caribbean, there's all kinds of production and stuff going on there. Angelina Jolie shot there, when they did Beyond the Sea. People love the light there, so there's a lot of film production there. This is one, you had Shimshar last year. This is the second independent feature film to come out of Malta, And as Americans, we have this sense of hundreds of years of history of our cinema. Right. And Malta, this is like the birth of it, of their original cinema, So it is ambitious, and there's not like a lot of, stuff going on around him to think of all this and tell all these stories and, right. and tell us about all the different political and sociological and cultural, things going on that little island. Mm-hmm. So it is ambitious. I'm so proud of him, and it really is a terrific piece of work. It's the first time I've seen it scored and graded, and it looks fantastic. But Irene's going to tell us about her shoot.
I'm going to answer your question. We, for our story, I think we had some 13 days of filming or something like this. And well, it's not so much a matter of how many days you have. It's just like I do a lot of theater, and it's actually, of course, always a bit strange to on a movie to start on a very different point, like you would maybe film the last scene first. Right. So it's not so much a matter of how long do you need to tell a story, it's more like how do I get into the character when I have to start with something in the middle of it, so to speak. Right. I have to really say I love the theater very much. I did actually TV in Germany but never really liked it, and to me this was a great experience because the way Chris works, and you know, and he's so creative, it very much felt actually like doing theater. While TV often felt like you know, like a very technical thing, and I was always happy to go back on stage.
Right.
And here it was really like, this is a great piece of work because we created something together somehow. So that was really good.
Thank you. It's like he knows what he's doing, but there's also, like he described his relationship with the actors. There's also room for collaboration, you know, and stuff like that. So it's a very, you know, interesting, you know, sort of approach he has as a director. Oh, sorry, as a director, and it's very much about. It says a lot about who he is. You know, the respect he has for all the people who've worked on his productions. There's room for all of us to, you know, contribute, but he knows very much, you know, what he wants to have happen, you know, and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, we need you on the microphone because you're very good on the microphone. As
Oh,
you saw
okay.
from,
Oh, really?
As you saw from the film. Have you ever done radio or anything like that? 'Cause
I've done. I live in London, so I've done some work for the BBC. I do a bit of voiceover and things like that. But we actually had real DJs during the day because we shot in a radio station.
Okay.
And when we would finish shooting at night, they'd come in and I'd hear them and I'd think, oh my God, that sounds very good. But no, it was, you know, the tricky thing for me was I did all my stuff by myself. Debbie, we would shoot her first, and then she had to go to work, so she wasn't even there. And we didn't have, all the sound was added later, all the sort of interactions. So at one point we had our makeup artist doing all the lines in between and stuff. But I shouldn't say this, but it looks fantastic. You know? It was very much a group effort to make those studio scenes work.
And do you live in Malta or?
Well, I live partly in Valletta and partly in Berlin, but actually currently I work a lot in Germany, much more than in Malta.
Okay. I was just curious about that aspect of it in terms of your relationship to that place and how that sort of enters into it. And
well, I would say passionately, I love Malta. I think if it was really just from my heart, I would live in Malta more than in Germany. But work-wise, of course, you know, it's really easier to work in Germany than in Malta.
you have to make more money.
I mean, I have been doing theater there, and I actually run my own theater company there. But it's a small island, so it's really limited, kind of. But this was a great opportunity to come back and really work there on this piece, so that was great. But yeah, I love Malta, and I live in both countries, so to speak.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about how you just talked about how a few independent films there have been. What's it like to make a film for you without there being a whole industry supporting it, a whole history of filmmaking in that sense? What are the challenges for you?
Well, okay, I guess there are different challenges. I mean, there's one challenge when you're in the pre-production stage, another challenge when you're filming, another challenge in post. So on pre-production, I have to be honest, I don't know, my mind wouldn't think so far ahead as to distributors and everything. So I literally, so you know, you tackle every challenge as it goes along, I guess. So, I mean, as challenge as well, it's, as you say, it's an independent film. I mean, the hardest thing is now we're trying to sell it, we're trying to get a distributor. So I would say, selling the film is much harder than making it, if I had to be honest, for me.
Right.
But that's because I love, as I said, I love working with them, and it's fun when you've got a nice crew who all. So I would say that to me at this point in time is the biggest challenge: selling the film and trying to get it like released on a wider scale. If that makes sense.
What's hard to do? I mean, it's a lot of things that's being asked of you as a filmmaker to have to go through all the things that involved with making the film, and then have to.
You have to do that. Yeah, that's.
Take it
But
from
it's
there.
very. I mean, unfortunately, that's how it is, I guess. So since it's unfortunately an independent sort of thing. If I had, I don't know. If I had something.
Do you have colleagues? I mean, who do you? I mean, other filmmakers that you talk through some of this in past experiences.
Not filmmakers. I wouldn't say I'd speak to actors, for example. We have. I mean, in fact, before we came here, we had a long discussion, two of us, about this exact. How do you sell a film? How do you get it out? How do you get distributors to watch the film? Because the problem isn't only selling it. I think it's even harder just to get them to watch it, to get them to know that you exist.
Yeah.
You know, that is so hard. So I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
So Yeah, I guess that's the biggest challenge at the moment.
Yeah. Are there questions from the audience? Anybody